We do have a list that we try to stay with. Thor, Love and Thunder. We finally got a poster, banger poster, banger
They've been
trailer.
killing it. They've been killing it.
What did we think?
So I know for me, saw the first Thor, not the first Thor trailer, but the newest Thor trailer, and it's pretty good. I thought that it did a good job of showing us just a little bit of a nice adventure. I like the direction Taika seems to go with the Thor movies, kind of giving us a little bit more of Jane, something that one of you might have pointed out to me or somebody else saw a video. They actually even show in the trailer how Jane has a better connection with Mjolnir than Thor does. When if for those of you who have seen the trailer, she actually shoots out the shards of the formerly broken Mjolnir. It's not lightning. If you go back and watch that and you didn't notice it. And so I thought they showed us a little bit, didn't give us too much. We got our look at Gorr the God Butcher. I don't think that it looks so bad. What about you guys? I know everybody was really worried. They were like, "Oh my gosh,
it looks so bad."
Bro, I think it looks great. I like my main.
A lot of people. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
My main issue online is people are. I mean, there's some things that are justified, like with people. If you're part of my headcanon army, being mad at the whole power change for Miss Marvel, or like I can't think of anything else right now, but there are certain things that should not be changed when you're adapting it to film. And with Gorr the God Butcher, I don't really care if he has tendrils hanging from his head.
Yeah.
But there are people online that are like, oh, he looks terrible. He should have the tendril. And it's like, bro, I know you're not on the internet right now telling me that Gorr the God Butcher was number 1 on your enemy list and you were praying that they got the face right. Like,
isn't that funny? Like when people are like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this forever," and it's like, go ahead, name the issue and page that he was on when he first showed up. Go ahead.
Let's tell the truth.
Name the 5 years like gap where he first appeared, and I bet you can't even do that.
Like, that's the thing. That's what I would say too, is like, again, I've known of Gorr the God Butcher, but I can't sit here and act like I've been waiting on Gorr the God Butcher to pop up in the MCU. Like, why do we do this? And like, I've seen some people, some of them are kind of cool. Some people have made like edits similar to what we talked about with Spider-Man No Way Home, how some people fix certain CGI or edited certain scenes. Some people have made edits where they put the tendrils and his little scarf or whatever, and like they look cool. And it's like, oh yeah, he would have looked real sinister. But to be honest, it's like I mentioned, I think with Megs with you last week. It looks like he's going to slowly transform depending on whether he's in fight mode or talking mode. Because sometimes he looked a little more human, other times he looked a little almost like vampiric. So I'm fine with them doing whatever they want to do.
SAT word.
Yeah, you're welcome. I pride myself on knowing random words for no reason. But yeah, I enjoyed the trailer. It was super funny. I got flamed for saying that I think the movie will have a beautiful plot because I think it will. It's just got like a blonde plot.
Jacob, do you know what he's talking about?
A braided hair plot. Like the armor on them looks like wonderful plot too.
This man,
I'm done.
This man made that video and slept on the couch for a week, probably. Anyways, actually in the comics, Jacob, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jane having Mjolnir, the hammer actually will form to what they want it to form, and she has it forming to Mjolnir because that's what is most recognizable to her. Correct?
No, I think in the comics it's just always Mjolnir because it wasn't cracked in the comics.
Because I heard somebody talking about that, and I was like, that's interesting. Because somebody said that might not be the last form that we see. It might Mjolnir might change into a different form at some point because of the shatterness and form into I think a Megazord or something. I don't know.
I think the main reason people were saying that was because some of the toys that don't think it was Hot Toys, but like Hasbro and stuff
Hmm.
have shown it, like where she rearranged the pieces somehow to look like a mace, or where all the pieces fly out and scatter like we saw in the trailer. So I think they're kind of like adapting it so that way it's not like we're watching another Thor movie, but we're watching an updated, like different modern Thor.
Okay.
We're basically going to see somebody be better with the hammer than Thor or Cap was. Because, like, I mean, when I found out she threw shards, and now you're talking about this, it'll be pretty interesting to see, like, her possibly, like, manipulate Mjolnir to, like, a point of, like, making, like, a mace or an axe or a sword, or something, like, just off of her power.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see it kind of, like, shapeshift a little bit. But, I mean, look, it's Taika, I believe. And
yeah, I just looked it up. From what I see, I don't think it was ever cracked, and I don't think she ever like changed it.
I do, because I thought it as well, and then Julian brought it up. I find it interesting that we only see her as Thor in the outfit and everything. And is that because of the cancer? Like, does she stay that way, and then maybe at the end
we see?
Yeah, well, from what I'm hearing, they are taking some of the Mighty Thor story and just adapting it, is the word I've heard.
I think that they've been really strategic with these trailers, because they haven't shown it, but they have shown Gorr and they have shown Thor, as far as like this journey of, are the gods really helping? And if they are, how are they helping? And I think that the movie is going to show us, I think initially it's going to do what the trailers are doing and just show us Jane in the Mighty Thor fit. And then later on, Thor is going to discover, like,
she's going to realize
she's permanently ill with cancer. And like, I've been gone for 5 years, and like, I probably could have, as a god of thunder, I probably couldn't have done much for cancer, but I could have at least been by her side and like helped her. And like, that's going to further along the story of just him understanding where Gorr is coming from.
Well, it's always been the issue with the Thor movies is the disgusting relationship, I would say, that they make them have. It's so forced in the first two movies to me that it almost looks like that Taika's reimagining the relationship.
I think it's just like it's a hard relationship, because Natalie Portman has never been on screen as the girl, just like the girl. She's always been the woman. She's been the leader. She's been like the strongest of the two. Like, even as Padme, I mean, they made Padme a leader. Like,
she was out here.
Like, if they had written that role and she was a queen and she was just like prim and proper.
You're gonna make me cry again if you bring this shit up. I'm just letting you know.
I'm just saying, like, if that was it, like, I don't think they would have cast Natalie Portman, because Natalie Portman is, like, in all of her roles, she shows how strong and independent her character is.
Yeah, it was, and I think a lot of people talk about her as Jane and the lack of justice kind of before, because it was just kind of like she almost, I might be wrong in saying this, but I feel like I've heard this opinion recently. She wasn't as much even like a very supporting role. Like, she was intelligent. She basically was the one who tied like the whole thing of like, no, this is science or whatever, and like how everything was working with Thor. But like, they didn't really give a lot of heavy development moments that we're seeing them give more supporting characters now. And it's one of those things where her character kind of just like fell behind to the wayside. Kind of similarly, because they did a better job with it. But for example, Pepper, who had like a very prominent role in like the first Iron Man, pretty recurring in second Iron Man, kept kind of recurring and getting moments and good and bad, whatever, with Gwyneth Paltrow. But Natalie Portman didn't exactly
you brought
get
up
that.
Gwyneth Paltrow, and she was just in this Uber Eats commercial. Because now you know how they're doing the Uber Eats, like, oh, you can do anything, but I can't eat this.
But
But
I can't
instead
eat
Uber
these.
brings stuff. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can eat this, and got whatever she got. But then she was like, one of the other things she got was a detox thing or whatever. And it was like, oh, this is how it is. Oh, we're all still learning. But the funniness of that is because she got sued for her company of health that she had because of the snake venom or coffee or whatever the hell it was that was like
Love the term snake
an
venom.
enema, like an enema detox, and apparently it killed 2 people, and she's in court over that. And it was just like,
I didn't know that.
what is
happened.
wrong with everybody right now? Like what that like, and then I told you guys about the Boys commercial, like, or the interview where he said like, oh, Homelander looks like he might beat up a sous chef or something, or a caterer. And I was just like,
They put their real life problems into
bro,
these
you are
commercials.
literally in a court trial right now because of that. Like, I just thought it was funny. But anyways, I'm sorry.
Hollywood
Continue.
Wild. No, Hollywood Wild. That I didn't realize the correlation between those two, because I know they also made a joke about her candle.
Mhm.
I think those of you who are unaware, she has a candle that has the essence of her underwear. Anyway,
I know what I'm getting Jacob for a wedding present.
don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have this man on the couch for no reason. But yeah, in general, Thor trailer was good. I do like Taika makes Thor just funny. Like, he's hilarious. And I think that like the colors, the idea, the picture all looks great.
Ragnarok-ish, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's also interesting. Ragnarok had good music, and now with the Guardians going to be in there as well, which who have always had good music as well. The like blend, I feel like they kind of have with what they've been doing with Thor, and then also music with Star-Lord and everything, him being super into 80s and all that. So super excited to see the movie. With Jane, I also about the cancer. And then Megs, I think you mentioned she has a time gap, right? She has a time gap.
Yeah, it's almost the two of them are like confused on whether she's like 3 or 4 years, he's like 8 years, blah blah blah. It's like a 5-year gap that they're talking about. So I think she was blipped.
I think that's potential, which would be interesting because and Jacob, you talked about the parallel too, where Thor basically is gonna get another I gotta grow up some more story. Like his whole thing is like moving forward. How do I go on with all this loss? And like if he in the middle of the movie he's about to find out she got cancer, she's gonna be like, bro, like
he was a pampered child until he was like a grown adult, basically, and then like Band-Aid rip. It was like Elf. He's like the superhero Elf. Child, grown child, and then put out into the real world. Didn't understand any of it. Didn't understand how to be a normal human. Figured that out. Then his brother crossed him. His dad dies. His mom dies. His
brother
sister tries to kill him, and she dies. Like, the man's going through it. And then all of a sudden now, possibly the love of his life dies, like, or he dies. I'm just saying.
We always wondering about who's going to die at the end of a Marvel movie. It's been ever since Infinity War.
Those contracts don't get any smaller.
Oh man.
So excited?
I'm thoroughly excited for Thor: Love and Thunder. I think it's just one of those things. I also get a good joy out of the movies that, as much as this probably sucks to say, the movies that don't get overly hyped. I think Thor gets a lot more hype than he used to because Ragnarok was so good. And so, because it's a movie that I feel like I can go into. I'm not worried about how Gorr the God Butcher looks versus how he looked in the comics. So I think I'm going to enjoy it regardless.
Agreed.
I'm excited. I'm excited because that trailer had at the end there, and everybody's been talking about it. Valkyrie's holding Zeus's lightning bolt, and I'm just like, all right, if Valkyrie becomes like king of the gods, I'm gonna just clap and cheer the entire movie. Like
she just became king of Asgard, and so it's like, hey, girl, you moving on up from a failed Valkyrie to
Funny thing is actually towards the end of Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, before she dies, makes Jane Valkyrie. And so that would be an interesting twist at the end if like Valkyrie becomes God, king of the gods, and then she gives the Valkyrie to Jane. That'd be interesting.
How cool would that be though? Is like if Jane holds both mantles, and instead of just using Mjolnir to fly around, she's got a fucking Pegasus that she's just like flying around on with Mjolnir.
she and then Thor has her airbrushed on the side of his van that has a sliding door on it. Yeah. That would be fantastic.
he got a Loki tattoo on his back.
The 3 Loki tattoos are great.